All right, folks, the Horror Nerd, Todd Staruch here at the second New Jersey Horror Con and Film Festival. And I am here with the lovely and talented Kristina Klebe, one of the stars of Rob Zombie's Halloween, among many other things. Kristina, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking a few minutes. So how's the convention been for you so far?
It's been great. My mom is here, so cool. This is the second convention she's ever been to. The first one was up in Boston, and actually there's a bunch of people down here who the first thing when I came in today is they recognized my mom. And they said, "Hey," and I was like, "Oh, that's okay, great." So she has made an impression on the convention circuit, I guess.
Well, that's awesome. Too bad she's not here. I'd be like, okay.
No, she missed it. Well, you'll have to come back for another interview to interview her.
Oh, that would be cool. I mean, I just think that's awesome. So does she totally embrace all of this? Is she into all of this?
I mean, she embraces it. Yeah, it's a totally different world for her. I mean, it was a different world for me before I got into it. I never watched horror movies, and I never really watched a lot of TV. I mean, I was more into like theater and live music and live performances, and so the whole world for the past 10 years, it's not been new to me. I've gotten used to it, but for her, it's still pretty. She's like, "Oh wow!" Like some guy came up in a zombie suit, and she's like, "Oh, I look at that is amazing. How did you do that?" Like she probably has never seen a zombie movie, you know. So she's like, "What is that?" No, I mean she's not. Obviously, she's seen a zombie, but she's very impressed by things.
Very cool. Yeah. I have slowly been dragging my dad down into my twisted world, and at this point there's really nothing that phases him, and he just goes about questioning every parenting decision he ever made. So that's just how it is.
Well, that's how my dad is probably with me, only like, you know, yeah, it's not in a good way. He's like, "Oh, great, my daughter does horror movies," and, you know, he thinks he wanted me to be like a lawyer or a doctor, or like, you know, something that produced better. I don't know, that did something better for the universe, or at least made more money, probably. You know.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. I work in independent films, and people are always like, "Oh, so you're still doing that little movie thing that you like to do?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why is it that people like don't understand that it's a serious profession? I would love to know. Sometimes I'm like, do I need to explain to you that I go to conventions and people actually want to get my autograph? I kind of think that's a big deal. I didn't know anyone in the film business, and I worked my ass off, and I made it happen to a pretty good point. That doesn't mean I'm stopping to work or to make it to the next level, but oh my God, that's not real. Is that real? That's not real, right?
If it is, that's the hairiest baby I've ever seen in my life.
I was like, is that a baby or a monkey? But it's not. It's a fake baby monkey.
I think it's a werepup. There is a vendor that and they're called werepups.
That's what it is. I really thought that was a baby for a second.
You know, well, but people get very attached to them and will wheel them around in baby carriages and such. So, yeah, we horror fans are an interesting bunch.
But yeah, so, you know, that's but anyway, so going, you know, I'm literally getting high right now.
Yeah, hey, listen, there's worse things that could happen.
It is so strong. Okay. For those of us who are allergic.
I have no idea what's happening here, folks, but it's all good. We're at a horror convention, so it's all good. So I've been talking to some of the other cast members of Rob Zombie's Halloween, and we've been talking about some of the fan reaction and backlash to it. Did you experience any of that negativity, or did it affect you in any way, or did you just sort of shrug it off?
I definitely just shrugged it off. To me, I was amazed to even be in a franchise that was this popular. I didn't even know it was hitting me, so I probably was much more impressed by the fact that many people liked the movie, and I was not concerned about the people that did not like the movie, because personally, they weren't interacting with me anyway, and so no. I mean, I respect anybody's opinion, but for me, it doesn't really matter. I did my job as an actor. Mm-hmm. I loved my part, and I was happy with my part, and I loved my castmates, and I loved working on the movie, so I had a great experience, and everybody's always going to like love or hate a movie, especially I think any really important movie has people that love and hate it. You know, a movie that's in the middle of the line that everybody feels nonchalant about is usually not a good movie, or it's not an impactful movie, you know, so.
And listen, you were in a remake of one of the iconic films, so, you know, there was bound to be some fan backlash, but that's good that you didn't really feel the brunt of it.
Yeah. I actually feel more of a brunt of hate on Twitter for the Friday the 13th, the game, because people love it. Like there's like so many people play that game. They absolutely adore it. And then there are people who are upset because there are like little plugins that don't work. So on Twitter, I'm always attached to everything, and I hear everybody complaining about what thing doesn't work on their PS4 or it's usually like on the PC or the Xbox that it doesn't work. And I'm like, guys, take me off this feed.
Well, because it's your fault that it doesn't work.
I don't have anything to do with this. I'm the voice of the character, okay? I do a good job. I did not do anything wrong. And also the game is awesome, so stop complaining. No.
Horror fans can be the best, and some of them can be the worst. Fandom is a very curious thing.
Yes, I try to embrace it in general. So, I mean, either way, that means they feel passionately about something. Exactly. Passionately enough to complain that much about it. So
about a game, right?
So, I mean, you know, obviously they want it to be good and to work. So in the way they're complaining, in the end, they want a good thing, right? So, right. I guess
What are you busy with these days? Work on any new projects? Cooking? What are you up to?
Yeah, I just produced and played the lead in a new Shout Factory, Scream Factory movie called I Am Fear, and it is a kind of like a political commentary. Modern day political commentary, kind of like Get Out, but with like more intense graphics and a little like more, I'd say more, it's like a little bit darker even. So that's going to be really an incredible movie. And I'm shooting a TV show in Germany right now. So I play a recurring character on a ZDF movie, TV show called Professor T, and I play a criminal psychologist.
Nice. So is horror your first love when it comes to movies, or it's something you kind of just came into? How do you feel about it?
Definitely, it's not my first love, because theater was my first love. I grew up doing theater. And I would still love to get back to theater again. That's my first love when it comes to acting. When it comes to any kind of movies, or I would say it's really like the project and the role that inspires me, not the genre. I've done a lot of thrillers and kind of like more dark drama thrillers as well, like Proxy or Dementia, that was a New York Times Critics pick. So I think obviously it's like a little bit on the darker side, but it definitely is more about the project and the role. And in TV, I'm pretty much like, whatever comes along. I mean, you can't really, you don't really have much of a choice when it comes to TV. You're like, yes, I want that HBO show that has it's like a dark comedy, and I get to play the most awesome part that I'm going to win an Emmy for. Yes, I'm going to choose that one.
Wait, it doesn't work like that?
Right.
I had it all wrong all this time.
You don't think we get to choose exactly what project and what role? And
What was I thinking?
Shock.
Shocking. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for taking some time with me. Tell the fans where they can follow you along, to follow your career, find out what you're up to next. Okay, great. Yeah, well, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Kristina Klebe, or Instagram at Kristina Klebe, or Facebook at Kristina Klebe. It's all very easy because no one else has my name. Definitely if you're in Germany, you never know. You might have some Germany people watching. You never know. My dad's 100% German, so you never know. Then watch ZDF this winter, Professor T, with Matthias Matschke, who's a very popular actor in Germany. And I Am Fear. Keep your eye out for that because it's going to be intense. Will do. Thank you again. Thank you. And we will see you in the next interview.